Today, I'm going to be discussing a topic I'm very passionate about: failing social media platforms. That's not to say that Facebook is indeed failing, but I'd like to discuss what lies ahead with the popular platform and what makes a platform like Facebook so successful. Facebook started with the now famous Mark Zuckerberg. In 2003, he and a few of his colleagues at Harvard University created an online hot or not website called FaceMash. This program would take photos from the Harvard student body and ask users to compare two photos and select the hotter person. Obviously, Zuckerberg got into trouble with this little game he created, and the university shut the site down. In 2004, Zuckerberg came back with his renamed website, The Facebook, that allowed Harvard students to create profiles where students could share information and photos about themselves. After popularity spiked, the site opened up to all Ivy League schools, and The was dropped. In 2005, a high school version was released, in addition to allowing large companies such as Apple to join in on the fun. It wasn't until 2006 that Facebook was offered to the public. By 2010, just 4 years of public operation, Facebook reached 500 million users. What started as just profiles had turned into news feeds, instant messaging, personal timelines, and the famous like button. Facebook's success was overwhelming, and people were amazed with how profitable the website had become. Today, Facebook is littered with ads and attempts to keep up with what other platforms are doing. Snapchat introduced stories, short compilations of video recordings throughout the day for everyone who had been following to see, and it led to a shameful follow-up by other companies. Facebook was one of them and remains to have the least amount of engagement from the stories feature. Facebook also introduced a more creative way to create posts by allowing users to include a colorful background and bigger text. This attempt to liven up the platform was successful with older audiences, but fell short with younger generations. Outside of the trial and errors of 2020, Facebook remains the most popular social media platform, and that isn't just exclusive to America. This chart from 2018 claimed that every single person in the world would have a Facebook by 2048. Something the general public doesn't think about is the amount of jobs the company created, topping in at around 185,000 position fulfillments. The network for the company, mostly owned by Zuckerberg himself, is an estimated $90 billion. Where does money like that come from? The endless gathering of personal information provided by users that sells to advertisers. That within itself is a topic for another day. Being that Facebook is so popular in America, it's no surprise that it's reached far across the globe as well. Excluding the US, the app is most popular in India, Indonesia, Brazil, Mexico, and the Philippines. All these countries combined add up to 544 million users, 44 million more than the 2010 popularity spike in America. Who isn't on Facebook? An obvious answer are those who cannot access the technology to use the platform. But it's also important to talk about those countries that banned Facebook. Currently, China, Syria, Iran, and North Korea have bans against citizens using the platform. Even without those countries participating, Facebook now gains most of its new users from other countries. Now, how did Facebook become so successful? The addiction of staying connected began with the site due to its real-time feel. Users felt as if they were engaging with one another in ways that weren't possible or as effective before. In 2019, the report showed that 88% of people used Facebook to keep in contact with one another. This could be through seeing posts of important events such as weddings or birthdays, or through the platform's instant messaging system. 33% said they used Facebook for entertainment, meaning that they watched videos posted, shared memes, and engaged in other content the platform has to offer. The scary part is when 23% of Facebook users say that they use Facebook to get news. Facebook currently has over 1 billion accounts, all which may not be real. But using that a number without accounting for where those accounts are from and who was polled in this study means a lot of people are using this platform for news. Why is that scary? Facebook's issue with fake news. The platform does everything in its power of the algorithm to sort out fake news and now has a feature that suggests an article's factual information, but fake news still slips through the cracks. This is a large issue considering what I'm going to be talking about here very soon. Before we dive into that, let's briefly go over some other issues Facebook has faced throughout the years. The largest and well-known scandal was with Cambridge Analytica after Facebook's team agreed to let the data collecting company collect the information from accounts for academic reasons. That was later used in the 2016 election to personally select ads for users. This isn't the first time Facebook dealt with privacy concerns, for on multiple occasions, information provided by users was found to be collected elsewhere, including cell phone numbers and email addresses. Facebook has also suffered breaches where passwords were exposed. Censorship has also been an issue, saying that Facebook runs off of content created not by the team, but by the users. This leads to inappropriate content, conspiracy theorists, and the term coined trolling. These issues were mostly solved through user-reported content, but we still see most of these issues today. Should Facebook censor content? Also another conversation for another day. Moving into my personal favorite issue of Facebook, where on the surface level it appears that nothing is wrong. Facebook is still one of the most used social media platforms and remains a major player in the social media big business world. It may not have the overwhelming popularity that it did in 2010, but we now have a dozen other social media platforms that are successful and have different styles and interfaces to, if you will, spice up our lives. However, below the surface are the numbers that show that Facebook may not outlive today's young adults. You see, growth among Facebook is not within younger generations, but within dying ones. A surge of the silent and boomer generation has practically taken over the platform, while we see Generation X on a steady decline starting in 2018. Why are younger audiences leaving Facebook? Better yet, why are they deleting Facebook altogether? Research shows that users aged 18 to 24 are using social media differently than previous age groups. Instead of blasting content for all followers to see, younger audiences prefer a smaller scale and more personalized approach. Think of Snapchat, where users can send pictures to a small group or one-on-one. The overabundance of ads is another reason they're leaving. With younger generations came the much-needed education on how advertising works on the internet, and because this age group is more aware of the advertisements, they'd rather leave them behind. What I believe is the most important aspect for why younger generations are leaving Facebook is because Facebook is stale. Other social media platforms are becoming more innovative in creating features and concepts that keep the audience more engaged for longer. TikTok is a prime example of this, meeting the attention spans of these audiences with short 15 to 60 second long videos, an amazing algorithm that understands what users want to see and how to keep them scrolling for longer. Facebook simply cannot keep up with these concepts because the market is no longer there. The market is now with the generations that are using Facebook. When you think of Facebook now as a young adult, you probably picture your Aunt Linda sharing a post about easy 3-ingredient cookies, Uncle Greg sharing his complete unfiltered thoughts on the current political situation, and your grandmother creating a status of something completely vague. These older generations have taken over, leaving Facebook stuck in a time of not being able to push forward to take back the younger audience in fear that it will lose the large older audience it now holds. For right now, Facebook is fine. Its large audience across the globe keeps it thriving and running for many years to come. However, the concern lies with when the silent and boomer generation begins to die out. The then adults of America will have already moved on, leaving Facebook a dying platform. This is all just an observation and prediction, and I'm curious to see what does happen to the powerhouse platform that basically started the social media empire. In the long run, I believe that Facebook will end up merging with its other owned platform, Instagram, in order to keep afloat before dying off completely. Here's where I turn the discussion over to you. Do you think you'll see Facebook die? And when do you think that'll happen? What steps do you think they will take to try and remain on top?